Let's just wait 2 more minutes. Let's just wait 2 more minutes for anybody else who wants to join in. Sam, someone in the chat just said, are you available to change the access on the Google Doc?
I'm trying.
Let me see. I got it. I changed it. Anybody, here's the agenda for today. It's supposed to work now.
My apologies.
It's okay. I don't know nothing about Google Docs. Anyway, Sam, we can start now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Sam. I am the Vice President of Academic Affairs for SVA. I use she, her pronouns. And I would just like to ask the other officers and SVA people and admin that are present that would like to just introduce yourself really quick.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sofia Maldonado Feliciano. No, my name is not Micah. I'm kidding. Hi, everyone. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the president of this year's Micah Student Voice Association, and I am a animation major. Anybody else from the SVA would like to go next?
Yeah, hi, I'm Andy. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm Secretary of Academic Affairs, and I'm also an animation major. So if anyone else would like to go.
Oh yeah, Allison is here. Allison, can you introduce yourself to, we're introducing the SVA officers.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm the Communications Director at SVA.
If that's
Hello.
all.
My name is Hello, my name is Lakeisha. I am the SVA Secretary, also in animation.
I believe that's all the officers. Also present today, we have David Bogan, we have Mike Patterson, and we have Carol.
We also have Tiffany Holmes and Shannon Ingram. Anybody else who would like to introduce themselves that wants to be present here?
Hi, everybody. My name is Christine Manganero. I'm the Associate Dean of Liberal Arts.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susie Brandt. I'm a faculty in the fiber department and in first year, and I'm on the Student Affairs Committee for the faculty.
Hello, everyone. Colette Vizek Colors, Associate Dean for Design and Media Division. Thank you for inviting me.
Michael Weiss, Associate Dean of Fine Arts in the first year experience.
Hey, I'm Reb Green. I'm faculty in FYE and also on the Student Affairs.
Woods, faculty in the fiber department. I'm not invited, but I'm one of two faculty representatives on a new committee, the Shared Governance Committee. So I thought I would listen in.
If that's everybody else, if anybody else would like to introduce themselves, it could be student, it could be anybody else who would like to be present with everybody here, then you have a minute here to talk. And if not, then we can continue on with the agenda.
All right. Well, thank you everybody again for being here. This is the second academic affairs meeting that we have held for SVA. This one's mainly going to serve as an update, go over a couple surveys, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in chat or message Sophia, because I'm going to be on another screen, so I probably won't see them. But we'll make sure that we answer them at the end. All right. So the first agenda item, I just wanted to go over survey results from the last academic affair meeting. At the last one, we sent out a follow-up Google form asking how online classes were going, both academics and studios, and we also asked questions regarding the spring semester. So I'll go ahead and can I be a co-host, please, Sophia?
Yes, very sorry.
All good. Yeah, so I'll just share screen so everybody can see what I'm reading. Lots of numbers, but yeah. Let's see. All right, so we had 60 total responses. We asked how classes were going on a scale from 1 to 5. 40%, so the majority, rated them 4 out of 5, 32, 3 out of 5, and 14% rated them a 5 out of 5. Overall, classes seemed to be going well at the time. We also asked what can be done better. These were just a handful of the responses. I went in and I took some that overlapped or just some key responses. A lot of issues seem to resolve around classes, the length, so either being too short or too long. Students are being talked at rather than talked to. Animation students specifically are asking for licenses for softwares so that they can work remotely more successfully. There's a desire for better communication and pacing of assignments, consistency from teachers, so in regards to assignments and going under the time, that kind of thing. It's also believed that MICA should invest in digital resources for students and professors. Workload is now heavier because it feels that faculty are shoving a lot more in. They're also noticing a mental health decline and more in-class instruction rather than heavier workloads. That's what students would like. Other issues being seen, time differences for international students, overload of work, internet issues, homework on weekends, lack of social interactions. I think this one is specifically for important for the first year students because they're totally missing out on that whole Founders Green experience. Canvas issues, Zoom fatigue, vague lectures, and critiques they're feeling aren't very beneficial. So then we went into specifics and we asked how academics were going. 89.3% said that they're going well, and 10.7% said they're not. They say that they format well online, but the lectures can be hard to focus on. But they have the similar value as in-person classes. Studio classes, 61% is saying yes, that they're going well, and 38.9% is saying that they're not, due to lack of space, limited working on a small scale, too long Zoom calls. They're not feeling that they're getting that relationship with professors that they ordinarily would, and just a overall lack of motivation. So we also asked what would their ideal timeline be before winter break. So most students want to know the plans for spring before winter break. Oh, my cat probably ran across the keyboard. 23.2% want at least 6 weeks before spring break. Majority of others want as much notice as possible. And they want MICA to keep in mind that to handle it better than the fall semester announcement, don't rush. Seniors and studio classes should be given priority. they should have the option to participate remotely even if it's hybrid. And yeah, sculpture and ceramic majors should also have priority. And like I said, these are just a majority of the answers, but there are others that I can share if there's a strong desire for that. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Would anyone like to respond to anything in that, add to that?
If anybody else have any questions or would not like to be public with the questions, they can message me and I anonymously will give out the questions.
All right. So the next thing I'm gonna share is another survey that we sent out, was in regards to the spring semester. And I will share screens for that one. Yeah. Can you see the slideshow? Yeah, thumbs up.
Yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, so because right now the plans for the spring are tentative, it's the key point to get student input so that we can make sure that that is taken into account. So I just want to go over the results really quick. So for this one, we had a total of 539 responses, which is amazing. 117, so 21.7% was first year students. Sophomores were 23.6%. Juniors were 20.4%. Seniors 19.7%, and graduate students 14.7%. Hi. And the survey was conducted from September 24th to the 28th. 88.3% of the students currently enrolled full-time, 8.5% were not registered, and 3.2% are registered part-time currently. So of the people that answered, 44.3% are living in Baltimore, 55.7% are not. Graduate students were 65.5% of that, and of the yes, 34.5% no, and undergraduates 40.7% and 59.3% no. So one important factor is what would be the most influential decision in the decision to return to campus, if that is a possibility. So the mass majority said in-person and hybrid classes. That came in at 35.4%. And then next was access to shops and equipment. And after that, studios, workspaces, res halls in the community, and studio workspaces. The other percent was an open answer that we allowed students to drop their own suggestions. It's not scrolling. Oh, there we go. So this is for graduate students. In-person studio was the mass majority. Hybrid class, I'm sorry, my cat. Hybrid classes was 37%. Wait, that's still undergraduate. I'm so sorry. There we go. Yeah, but multiple students said that they would not return until there was a vaccine available and or the public health situation improved dramatically. But that is for the graduate students. Undergraduate students, 47% wanted the residence halls, 37.6% would return if in-person and hybrid classes were an option, 6% for shops and equipment, and 3.4% for independent studios and workspaces. And for undergraduate seniors specifically, you can see 35%, that's the majority for the independent workspaces, and shops and equipment for 33%. This is just a graph going over the data that I just shared. And another important factor, because for the reopening plan, they would also have to figure in res halls. So 51% of students said that they would return to campus if possible. 35% said it depends, maybe, and 13.9% said no. And people that said no, because I have or would have off-campus housing already. That's 51%. Yes, 39%. So those are the students that would need housing that answered the survey. So 211. And only 9.6% of students said that they would not be interested in returning if the possibility arose. This is for different time zones. Most majority live currently in the Eastern time zone. Different time zone, 14.7. Asynchronous, so international students, would be 5.6% and the 3.9%. Yeah, this is just a graph regarding classes. So most majority of students would want the hybrid. And of the 539 total responses, 146 gave open-ended comments at the end. So people would return back to campus, but only if provided access to a specific resource. 33 people wanted physically reopen for the campus, any capacity. Yeah, so there are numerous other miscellaneous comments, but these are just the mass majority, as I said with the other survey. So yeah, these are just examples. I'm not going to read through all of them. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. Does anybody have any comments or concerns regarding any of the data that I just shared, or for the spring, anything like that? No. All righty. So the next agenda item, I wanted to go over the recently, I'm sure most of you have seen the email of the, I just need to find it, of the reopening plan that was sent out. So I just wanted to read over that and maybe ask if Mike Patterson or David Bogan could give comments on it, just to shed some light as to what was the thinking in regards to this, if that would be okay. So I'll just share screens. This was the model that was shared on the email itself. Can everybody see it? All right. So Mike or David, would you be able to go over these modes real quick for everybody?
David, you want to take a first run?
Sure, I'd be happy to. What's being shown is the different operational modes that are tied to both internal and external public health metrics. And the idea of this part of the communication is to connect the sort of degree to which we can imagine reopening the campus and begin working on it and some of the specifics to the actual public health conditions. We see on the one hand, there's obviously a focus on externals. Where are we in the city of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, and so on, but also part of the communication is about how we'll be managing public health during the stages of reopening on campus. And the idea here is to give everybody a very clear idea of the linkage between science-based public health metrics and the kinds of in-person and on-campus activities. We can sort of dial up or dial down depending on sort of how things work over time and how successful we are, particularly given some of the unknowns in the external public health environment. That's, I think, what this is about, basically. Mike?
I think thank you, David. The only thing I would add, first of all, hi, everyone. Mike Patterson, Vice President, Student Affairs, he, him pronouns. The only thing I think I would add on top of that is also in the email, and I don't know, Sam, if you have this queued up in visuals, there was a deeper sort of explode out of, I think it was mode 3 that drilled more into all of the operational lines, like what would be happening in the library, what's happening in housing, and so on and so forth. We gave that sort of explode out for mode 3 just to offer everyone some certainty that we actually have a similar level of detail with all of these operational modes. They're not a fully formed concrete yet. There's still a lot of work with a lot of really important leaders on campus, and some stuff might shift a little bit. But the idea is that there's real granular detail underneath all, there you go, thank you, Sam, under all of these operational modes to help us understand exactly what our community can do, driven by the science-based and the metrics-based indicators that we have.
Thank you. And I would just like to ask, because I've gotten this question from multiple people, is there a current timeline right now for when this, like the graphic, like where we currently are, will be available on the website, like it was mentioned in the email?
The actual dashboard that's at the bottom of the image you have up there right now? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I was talking about that with Technology and Communications less than an hour ago. I think that it is likely to be live at some point in mid-November, but I can't give a hard date yet, in part because we're trying to still work with, primarily this is about the database, the data that we need from the city with respect to hospital utilization, and most importantly, with respect to the city's testing positivity rate. The city actually maintains a lovely infographic and dashboard on their own site, but there isn't a tool that we are yet aware of or have access to that allows us to just directly port that information in, where it can be in real time for our MICA population as well. And we're working on that right now. And that's the main thing that might slow us up a little bit. And I don't mean slow us up by months at all here. It's just a question of whether it's, you know, mid-ish November plus or minus, sort of where exactly in that it lands. I would expect that we'll be able to confirm a launch date for the dashboard within the next few weeks. We know it needs to be up and running well before the spring, because part of this is also about how we will open for the spring.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Let me just see. So yes, I just want to thank you both for jumping in on that. Does anybody, I don't want to go into too much detail regarding it. It's all in the email, but does anybody have any questions or concerns? One moment. All right. So I have like 10 tabs. All right. So again, this is still a work in progress. So we welcome direct feedback from the community, from the student body, so that we can, as SVA, go to administration and see what we can do in that regard. We will be sending out another follow-up survey to get your responses to this. And we will also be going into breakout groups at the end of this meeting, where we can also discuss this further. All right, I had a request to just share the images in chat. Let me just see if, I don't know how to do that. Would somebody be able to send the images from the email? Would that be possible?
You can just, like, with the file, you can just, on the chat, it's supposed to, the little 3 dots. Oh, wait, actually.
Yeah, it's not letting me send an image.
Oh, we have a anonymous question. We have,
okay.
It says, hi, I have a question that does not have to be brought at this moment. Well, it's been brought, sorry. When should we expect to hear back from Micah about the spring plan? Is it Mike?
So, yeah, we're, so over the next several weeks, we'll be building out based on this general approach, and we anticipate making a broader and more public final announcement the second week of November. So we're sort of looking at that time frame. We have heard loud and clear from people that faculty, staff, and students that we need to know early and clearly what the plan is for spring. And so that seemed like a reasonable timeline. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to Sophia for the moment. She's going to discuss with us the community of care.
Yeah, so this, saying it now here, saying it in front with everybody here, the community of care is wants to create a website. It's all, this is not official. We're still looking for feedback. We're still looking for thoughts and ideas for everybody, and we would like to give out some ideas, and if anybody have any ideas or questions or concerns with what we are giving first, just let us know. Special. Sorry, Carol, I muted you. One of the things is that we have the first section that will be the introduction and overview. Thank you, Mike. And the community of care mission and a statement and the purpose of the site. The section 2 will be wellness resources. Here, students will have health information, links, and where to get flu shots, especially in the areas of Baltimore, COVID responses and resources, campus psychological and emotional health offerings, and student counseling, APA. Okay, the community of care is the community of care is an R5 group. It's meaning that it's part of the MICA planning for short terms reopening or longer term sustainability. The R5 group, the community of care, incorporates into MICA COVID-19 navigation actions of care for MICA in Baltimore, encourage mutual care, and ensures the communal well-being of MICA campuses, the community over the summer and through the fall 2020 reopening. And it also encouraged mutual care and insurance on MICA ongoing development that lives up to MICA's tenet of the model of a community of care on campus and in the city. So we're trying to make this website where students have an easier access to some resources, and also and especially in these very, very extreme hard times. One of the things that we're also trying to do with this website is to make your voice heard. So this would be something where you will share your suggestions, concern, grievances, anonymously or not. We're trying to find out how to make this. This is a very important thing for students due to students feeling that sometimes they're not being heard to their suggestions, they're not being heard, or maybe a professor or a student did something very negative to them. Maybe they got discriminated for their gender, sexuality, or their ethnicity. And so we're trying to make this session where students can give out information and share their stories or etc. So what this would be is that the question would be, where would these messages be going through? Would it go to maybe the student life? Maybe would it go to Center of Student Engagement? Where would it go? Would it go to the SVA due to us being also students? A lot of suggestions have said that this should be dealt with the SVA due to students trusting other students better. Others say that maybe it should not be with SVA and should be treated directly to administration. The section 4 would be connecting with the MICA community. This is more with MICA Craft, MICA app, events online or campus eventually in the community and games. Is there any other questions or any other oh my God, English is not working for me now. Or any comments that anybody would like to add? This is very important due to this will be really nice for students, especially coming in, who especially after Michael call has been such a big thing in this year, and we want to give the space for students to give to be heard in their voice and not just be not just be a photo on Instagram on a website. Comments can also be made anonymously on chat. You can just message me privately if you would like to not say your name.
Do you mind explaining like a little bit more about this and what it would look like?
Sure. I'm sorry if I'm sorry. I'm just reading off like a paper that I wrote, and that's why I'm like I wanted to get every detail, and I might have sounded a little bad. But one of the things that this website will be part of MICA. This is just a process. This is just like in process, and because it's on process, we want students' opinions first. So this website would be part of MICA, and this website you will have 4 sessions. Obviously, the first one would be introduction or review of what is MICA Community of Care, what's our mission stands, and what's the purpose of this. And on the second one, we will have wellness resources where students can have their health information, can have virtual calming rooms, post-election care, wellness-related online classes or workshop like yoga, combating online fatigue, and etc. The third one is the most important one that we would like to hear. Well, each section is important, but this one is extra important just because the SVA has been trying to make a website where students can have their voice heard. And we would hear suggestions, we will hear concern, grievances. It could be anonymously, it could not be anonymously, depending on the situation. It could be taken to the SVA, it could be taken to the administration, depending on the person and what they would like to share or what not to share. The section four is connecting with the MICA community. This more is for MICA crafts. That's I believe that's the Minecraft server that MICA is trying to make. I'm not sure. There's also the MICA app. There's also the event online. There's also the event and games. Shannon, if you would like to explain a little bit more of community of care a little bit. I'm a little new to this, so maybe I explained it a little bit too fast.
Oh no, you did great. I just was trying to get more of a picture of it in my head. I'm also wondering when it comes to like community of care at MICA, I've just been thinking like, what can we do? This is not something SVA can accomplish or that we can really talk about in an hour meeting, but I'm just thinking like, what can we do structurally at MICA, for instance, like post-election care? Could we, I don't know, not, take a break from homework and like the demands of like constantly reaching deadlines. I'm just trying to think of like structural ways we can slow down the really intense workload that Sam so beautifully described with all that data that people gave about feeling like there's just way too much work. There's just way too much heaviness in the world. I don't know. I just keep thinking about that. That's my side thought.
Sophia, I can respond to that if that's helpful.
Thank you.
So I think you did a great job providing an overview of community of care, just to help maybe clarify any other additional information. The community of care is a body of people who are working together to consider a lot of what Yael, I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So what Yael was actually talking about, Mike Patterson, he actually left to go to an election care meeting that we're both a part of. And so what you expressed as concerns of areas that you would like for us to consider, it's definitely on the agenda for both the community of care, which is meeting on Friday, and then the election care meeting, which is actually happening right now. But taking into consideration just the heaviness that everyone is experiencing, both students, faculty, and staff in the community as a whole. So I just wanted to let you know that it is something that's already being considered and thought through and looking at ways to provide additional resources. There are events that are being scheduled, and there will be ways for us to be able to communicate what resources will be available for you all as students as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, that's really cool to hear. Thank you for letting me know. I'm also wondering, like, not just with adding additional resources, but can we, this is not something I'm just trying to wonder if we can cut back on some things. Just in terms of like the intensity of the MICA workload and the MICA structure. That's just kind of a fantasy of mine, but it is awesome that there's resources and discussions being had. Thank you.
Yeah, we did put out an announcement in the faculty assembly yesterday asking individual professors to consider students, general feeling of overwhelm. And so that has been communicated to faculty. I certainly would encourage you to speak with your individual professors. I know they'd be willing to hear from you.
Okay, is there anything else that we would like to say about the community of care, Sophia?
Give me a quick second. Let me just look here.
And thank you, Yael, for your questions. Like I said, we have heard that students are feeling incredibly overwhelmed, and we have been in communication with faculty such as Liz English, the FEC, all the faculty committees are made aware of this. So.
One of the questions that we got was, anonymously, was if they're wondering if the community of care, would there be a student testimonies, as in like kind of like a call out, as in the call outs. I don't. Sorry, I might need to translate that so I can understand the question a little bit better, or if anybody here or anybody would like to answer that. But just let me quickly. I'm very sorry. Just sometimes I need to translate to use so I can understand a little bit better.
All good.
But
to answer your question, Jillian, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I know that there are some of us that do check the app more frequently than others. I am bad at checking like social media stuff, but oftentimes when we see like grievances, we post it in the SVA Slack and we do have a discussion about it.
So answering that question really quick, I'm wondering if the community of care, there would be student testimony as in the call out. How we're looking to do these making your voice heard is making it more of the students get their testimony anonymously or not, and either the SVA will go with this with the administration, and we will be contact with the person who has the name on, or but we still don't know if this will be put publicly or not, because this is still in process. But if students would like to hear this publicly, it just depends on the victim who put out this, if it would like to be public or not. It just depends on how this will go.
I had a question.
Okay.
So this is more of a question for David Bogan. Is there a way that administration could maybe support, because I know faculty is doing their end of the job to try to get faculty to slow down a little bit around election time during difficult circumstances, especially mentally, and especially for our BIPOC students. So I'm wondering, David, if there's any way that administration could also put a little bit of like a form of pressure, but a form of support, that's like saying, we encourage, because on some level, sometimes the tiers help of power. And if, there's like a MICA-wide support that's stating, we would like our students to be able to have a moment to slow down. especially in this capitalist society when everything is so quick. I wonder if we could get something like that.
There is the work machine of capitalist society. Yeah. I think it's a really good approach and recommendation. I would say that what we've been really looking at, and this was mentioned earlier by Shannon, the voter access initiative folks who work with me have been looking really closely at the week of November 2nd as kind of a place where we need to put some attention as a community, based on our past experience and based on whatever's going on in the world. And so I would say, some of the messaging coming from my office coordinated with that is something that we've already been planning for. And it would be the kind of, this is, I think we're just telling people something that everybody is aware of, but this is a very unique week and period of time. We've also worked to move meetings out of that week already, and I think should continue to do that. So, we want, on the one hand, not interfere with the planning that's already gone on for courses and so on, and faculty will work with that through the faculty, but to see an overall kind of, can we make some space this week for this thing we're all going to be going through together?
Thank you, that helps.
Yep.
That's great. Kind of along the same lines, I guess, in regards to needing a break, is the students' desire for a fall break. And I know Christine Woods mentioned in chat that it was discussed amongst faculty. So I'm kind of curious, from the administration perspective, where does that currently stand?
I haven't heard the results of the faculty discussion. Christine, was that at yesterday's FA?
Yeah, that was at the faculty assembly. So yeah, you wouldn't have heard the results of that discussion. I mean, Liz and Susie are also here, no pressure on either of you. It wasn't an agenda item per se, but it came up, for very similar reasons, that, we're in the rooms with the students, and, I can only speak for myself, but I'm talking to my students every week about their well-being, about the load in all of their classes, about how it's feeling in my class. And I'm aware that students are sometimes willing to be forthcoming, and understandably sometimes not willing to be forthcoming. I mean, full disclosure, the students were very, very, it was not clear to them what happened with fall break, and some asked and answers didn't feel adequate to them. I polled all of my classes anonymously on Zoom, and unanimously all students in my classes said they wanted fall break. So we're having fall break in all my classes. And I strongly recommend to my faculty colleagues that they just do the same thing.
I've been having kind of similar conversations with other faculty and students, and it was really just a response to people feeling burnout. I think, my personal feeling is to do a sort of blanket ask of a fall break. To fall on the same week might be logistically really difficult now that people have their syllabi plan based on a previous schedule.
Right.
So the thought might be to leave it up to individual discretion. I know a week from Friday, my class will be taking a Zoom break and meeting me by appointment if wanted. But yeah. I think the student burnout is universally acknowledged by family. Family, faculty, I think we're all seeing it,
Probably faculty and family at this point.
Yeah.
So and we've had this discussion, Sam, as you know, in other rooms. I'll just so everybody in this room understands, I'm not, and I'll take responsibility for this. When we shifted the plan for the fall, we had already posted up an academic calendar, and at the time we took the decision to stick with the academic calendar we had proposed, to not further cause faculty to have to readjust, that calendar itself was kind of confusing, and we were already into the semester at that point. And so it, from a just exactly the way Elizabeth is describing it, from a need to readjust to all the syllabi and everything, we just went forward with that. I do think everything that everyone is saying about what, you know, the space, this space, Zoom land, and the times we're in and so on, you know, it's increasingly well understood. And it makes sense to me to work with a strategy where, again, we look really hard, particularly at the week of the elections as well, and then continue this discussion as we plan for spring, and really recognize that we're kind of in a fundamentally different environment than we have been on a number of levels. We do have to plan around public health issues, but we got to make sure we have restorative practice built in. And so I'd like to do a better job with that for the spring as well. So that's where I think we are.
One suggestion that people have brought up is possibly a staggered fall break. Would that at all be a possibility, do you think?
Sorry. Really quick before you answer the question, we also have another question that is about voting. For example, it's more asking for other people who have to vote. When, for example, one of the certain dates is November 2 for voting, do they have I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening with English with me today. If they would like to vote on November 2, and that's a study date, that's a class date, would they have the freedom to go and do their voting without penalty of missing their classes?
So with respect to voting, we don't have a what would I say, a voting as vacation day policy in place. I think, you know, you can use your class absences and so on. We do, for employees, allow what's called liberal leave, so that people can step away, and that would be on election day. Again, it's kind of an extraordinary year since voting is taking place over many weeks. I think, just in the interest of time, because I see we've only got 10 minutes left of the meeting, I don't want to try and make policy on the fly. So Sam, what I'd be happy to do is discuss what the proposal is. My real bottom line on this is, I think the issues that are being raised are very real. As Christine said, faculty are hearing them from students in the classroom. We're seeing some of the responses from students. At the same time, you know, there will be many challenges. There are many challenges to rewriting an academic calendar in the middle of the semester that we really want to avoid. And so we can probably do this by listening to one another and working with some policies like we've described here, and then moving toward real thoughtful work. And we have a limited amount of time. We have about 3-4 weeks on the spring calendar. But I'd encourage, you know, SVA, let's have this discussion again and immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll schedule that. Thank you.
I appreciate it from everyone. Thank you.
So like he said, we'll work to schedule a meeting, so that if there's any direct feedback that you would like us to bring to the table in regards to fall break, advocating for some kind of a break, alleviation from workload, don't hesitate to send it our way. We have the email. You can message any one of us. There's so many ways to get into contact with us. So yeah. Real quick, just in the interest of time, I just wanted to go over a couple of things that SVA was able to do for this semester, that we really pushed for. We were able to get the pass-fail deadline extended. It is now to November 9th. They sent out an email. You just have to fill out a form that's in the email to request that. Previously, I believe it was in October, but students came to us saying that that was too soon. They wanted a little bit of time after midterms to really gauge what they were feeling. So we heard that and we got that done. We also advocated for a midterm feedback survey. So please, please, please fill that out. That should be also in your emails. So yeah, we were gonna do breakout rooms, but we don't really have time. So I just want to open up the last couple minutes just for any questions, if anybody wants to add anything, anything at all.
Just a quick little comment also for the people, this will be posted on YouTube, and some people might be listening, or SVA YouTube, where students who are not available to attend can see this. If any other questions, that we'll have, please send it to the SVA or to the SVA or any of the SVA officers specifically. If any other questions comes, or if you're seeing this video, please email us.
Christine was asked, is the midterm survey on Canvas Commons? I was told it's in an email. Does anybody have an answer to that?
It's on an email. It's on an email.
Thanks, everybody, and hello, Tiffany Holmes, she, her pronouns. This midterm check-in or survey is something that the Academic Affairs Committee of the Faculty recently approved. And the way it's been implemented is that all faculty have been messaged and encouraged to do this. Some are doing it verbally. Some are taking a Canvas quiz, which acts something like a survey into their class and are distributing it that way. And still others are using another form, like form or something like that, because each faculty member, depending on their area, may wish to ask additional questions to gain additional information about how students are experiencing their classes. And no pressure, but if any of the faculty here want to speak to how they're doing it, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I did midterm check-ins last week, just verbally, because it gave the chance for spontaneous conversation. And I mean, I just like to get to know my students too. And teaching in form and space, it's always the conversation, does this relate to your major? And so we got to have that also. But it was a good chance for valuable feedback about how the online classroom is working and how they're feeling, so yeah, that's how I did it.
Hi, it's Susie Brandt, and I'm doing the anonymous survey in Canvas in case there's something somebody wants to say to me anonymously. And I really appreciate that organization of that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm kind of, we had a big check-in at the 6th week because I personally felt a tremendous amount of fatigue and I couldn't quite understand what was happening. And then I realized that that was the week that in the spring when we all dispersed, we taught for 6 weeks online. And so I realized that I think at first just not even consciously was aware that we were in kind of uncharted territory, students and faculty. And so I talked about that in class, just a casual conversation like Liz is kind of describing. Man, the students were really also, feeling it. So I really love a combination of what Susie's describing, so important for students to have an anonymous platform, and also what Liz is describing.
That's great. I know I speak for all the students, like, thank you for really advocating for your students, like, mental well-being. Like, that's really incredibly important and it's awesome. So just thank you. So we're just about out of time. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming here. I think that this was an incredibly successful meeting. Like I said, we will be meeting with administration to further the discussion regarding fall break. So faculty, students, if there's anything that you would like us to bring to the table, please reach out to us. And yeah, just thank you for everybody who's contributed, spoken today, asked questions. It was really great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.